friends, it's Amanda here, and today I am talking about my favorite products of the past year. This is something that I do at the end of December every year, and I am switching things up just a little bit. Typically, I do a three-part series, so best of face, best of lips, and best of eyes. But this year, I'm only going to do two videos. I do want to put the palettes in a separate video because I want to show you close-ups, swatches. I'm also going to do an eyeshadow tutorial where I combined two of my favorite palettes from this past year to create this eye look that I'm wearing today. I really want to make sure I give each and every product their time to shine while also keeping it short, sweet, and to the point. So for this video, I'm going to show you everything that's not palettes. And as usual, I have a lot of products that I discovered and really enjoyed this year. Pretty much everything launched in 2023 that I'm going to discuss in my end of the year favorites videos, but there are a few things that have maybe been out for the past year or two previously and I just didn't really get the chance to try them. They weren't on my radar or whatever the case may be. But in general, these are pretty new products. Keep in mind that pretty much all of these products have been previously rigorously reviewed on my channel. So if you want to see things like application demos, wear tests, and just more in-depth info about anything, I will put an extensive list of links in the description box. So if you see a product here that interests you and you do want to learn more about it or see more about my experience with it, go and check the description box and there should be a handy link for you for pretty much everything. Not everything got a dedicated video, but most things for sure. Let's start first with my favorite fragrance of the year. This is from Kackie. It's the Yum Pistachio Gelato fragrance. Especially in the summertime, I wore this so much. I actually have a little travel atomizer that I need to fill up and start taking with me. The lasting power on this is so good. This one isn't overly sweet. It's not sickly sweet, but it definitely has a sweet fragrance. The notes are pistachio gelato, hazelnut, sweet rum, whipped cream, marshmallow, and cotton candy. I know that sounds really, really sweet, but it just has such a clean edge to it that it doesn't make all of those sweet ingredients a very sickly, sugary, more immature type of fragrance. The lasting power on this is beautiful. I didn't even have to think twice when I was trying to think about my favorite fragrances from the past year. This was the first one that came to mind, and that really says something, in my opinion. Now, let's talk about my favorite brushes of the year. I think you're going to be seeing these in a lot of people's favorites. I've held off on watching the best of the year videos from my friends because I didn't want to be influenced by their choices. But I have a feeling that these Singe Beauty brushes are going to be popping up a lot. They're so soft. They're so well made. They just blend beautifully. They feel good on my skin when I'm applying. They've traveled well, washed well. I have several sets of these, and these are my favorites. I did do an in-depth video on all the new face brushes. So if you watch that, you already know that the F02, this brush that I use for concealer, is one of my favorite Singe Beauty brushes. I also really like the F07 for applying my highlighter. This was a surprise favorite for me. This is the F01. This is a foundation brush. And I did not think that it was going to be dense enough for me, but it does just such a beautiful streak-free job of applying my foundation. So those are my three favorite face brushes. And then for the eye brushes, EO4, 5, and 6 are my favorites. This one reminds me so much of my favorite ColourPop blending brush. This one I love for adding depth to my crease. And this is just a great all over lid brush, but it can also do great work on the lower lash line. So these are my favorite eye brushes, 04, 05, and 06. I can't wait to see what else Singe Beauty comes out with because I'm just really thrilled with these. I'm happy that I've invested in multiple sets of these brushes because I use them literally every day that I do my makeup. These are undisputed hero products for me in 2023, and they are both drugstore brands. NYX, the brow glue, and the L'Oreal Telescopic Lift Mascara were constant staples for me. I have repurchased both of these products, so I've only had to repurchase the brow glue once. I'm probably on my 4th tube of this by now. For me, a staple product like a really good brow glue or a really good mascara is just non-negotiable. I need things that I know I can rely on. I know it's going to hold my brows in place. I know my lashes are going to look full and beautiful and fluffy all day long. These have been just incredibly reliable staple products. That is as good as gold for me. And I bet all of my fellow makeup lovers feel the same way. They're affordable, they're easily accessible for me here. I live in the US, so I can get these basically everywhere from the grocery store to the pharmacy, and I never ever go without these. Let's move on to some face products. I have 2 sunscreens and then 2 foundation type products that I've kept on constant rotation this year. I believe both of these sunscreens did come out in 2023. I always have at least one of these on me at all times. I'm sure that this is no surprise because I'm constantly applying them in my get ready with me's, and I'm constantly reminding you to wear your sunscreen before you leave the house too. I'm a big SPF fan. These are my absolute favorite sunscreens. I have a hard time imagining either one of these being dethroned in 2024. I'm open to it. I will try all the sunscreens, especially because I not only have dry skin, so I need something hydrating and something glowy. I have mature skin. I've had a lot of sun damage over the years, so I'm really protective over my face. SPF is a must-have for me. This e.l.f. SPF does have a very glowy finish. I like to use this one as a glowy makeup primer type of product. And the Inky List Dewy Sunscreen doesn't have any glow, but it has a dewy finish. So these both just work incredibly well for my dry skin, and both of these perform well under makeup, which is a must for a makeup lover like me. I don't have any favorite concealers, but I do have a favorite foundation and a favorite skin tint. This Ulta Complexion Crush foundation was actually recommended to me by one of my YouTube viewers, and I am so thankful for that because I absolutely love this. Whenever I'm looking for a little bit more coverage, perhaps if I'm going to be taking photos, going to an event, whatever, this is my absolute go-to. It looks great on my skin. It doesn't look heavy. It doesn't look cakey. This is definitely medium coverage. It has a natural finish, so it's not very dewy, and that's why I like it for events, photos, all that good stuff. More of my day-to-day preference is a skin tint. This is from Danessa Myricks. It's the Yummy Skin Serum Skin Tint. This is what I'm wearing right now. This is just a daily go-to type of product for me. It feels hydrating. It looks youthful and glowy without looking too greasy and shiny. It feels like nothing on my skin. It feels like nothing to the touch. It feels like nothing just on my face going about my business. This has skyrocketed to the top of my dry skin favorites. And the shade range is amazing. This is available at Sephora. Very different, but they both serve the different needs that I have. So these are by far my favorite face coverage products. I don't have a concealer. I don't have a powder that I fell in love with. I didn't want to just pick something just to fill the slot. So as far as coverage products go, these were my absolute champions of 2023. I have a handful of cheek color products here in my favorites. The first I want to talk about is actually a face palette. This is the Ambient Lighting Edit Unlocked palette from Hourglass. This was their holiday face palette release. They had these gorgeous special animal art packaging options. So I went with the owl, but the palette that's in here is the Jellyfish palette. It's the lightest one, but I just got mine customized to have the owl packaging instead. This was, for me personally, a really, really good investment. I use all of these colors. I will say I prefer the rosy blush over the corally one, but I get tons of use out of all of the shades in here. This glowy highlighter is beautiful. Both of the setting powders work for me for different areas of my face. I love Hourglass bronzers. Their powders are just so beautiful and fine and just feather light. These are really pricey, but because I'm not a completionist, I feel like this is a great investment for me. I don't buy every single one of these that comes out. The last time I bought one of these face palettes was back in 2020, and I actually still have that palette and use it all the time. But I felt like it was time to probably think about replacing that one. This is a travel staple for me because I have everything I need all in one face palette here. So I have a full review on this one, so I'm not going to go too much further into it, but I'm really happy that I splurged on this palette because I love it so much and I use it all the time. Let's talk about blush and highlighter. I do not have an individual bronzer in my best of the year this year, but I have quite a few blushes and highlighters here. As usual for me, we've got drugstore, we've got high-end, and we've got indie brands. Let's start at the drugstore. Essence expanded their Pure Nude Baked Blush line. This shade called Goldy Cassis is my favorite from the expansion. My most used, my most loved. It's actually what I'm wearing today, but just very lightly over some of that Hourglass bronzer. I don't know how Essence makes their products so affordable and so good at the same time, but I'm really glad that they do. Another drugstore pick, I don't know, do we consider ColourPop to be drugstore? You can buy it in Ulta here, and I don't know. It doesn't feel like indie. It's not expensive enough to be high-end. It's just in a league of its own, I suppose. This is technically a highlighter. It's more of a blush slash blush topper for me, but this is from the ColourPop Sailor Moon Pretty Guardians collection. This is the Moon Kingdom highlighter, but like I said, I use it as a blush. Oh boy, you can really tell that I've done a number on this one. I would never have guessed that this would be a product that I would use so frequently and enjoy so much. It seems a little bit too crazy for me because I tend to save my experimental colors and textures for my eyeshadow, and I tend to be pretty basic when it comes to my face and my cheeks.
This one's called Moon Kingdom from the Sailor Moon collection.
This is super shimmery. It's got a blue shift. It's this warm pinky purple with a blue shift, and I love it. Never would have guessed that this would be the type of product that I was going back to over and over again, but here we are. This also looks really pretty over Goldy Cassis, so this is a good pairing. If you have both of these, try them together. Let's talk about a little indie brand blush. These are from Finding Ferdinand, and these two shades are from the Summer Abroad collection that was done in collaboration with Kackie.
My favorites are the shades Au Lait and Macchiato.
These are so beautiful. The colors are scrumptious. The texture of these cream blushes is so exceptional. They feel just light as air, but somehow retain their pigmentation all day long. They have this almost gel type of feeling. They blend so easily. I love them. You can mix and layer the colors. These are a revelation. I don't know if you can tell, I have really gone hard for these. I like to wear both of these mixed together. If I was doing a ranking, which I'm not, these would easily be towards the top of all of the products I'm going to talk about in any of my best of the year series this year. These are so insanely good. I'm pretty sure that they're not restocking them anymore, so I'm sorry for bringing it up now because I don't think you can get these anymore, but oh man, they're just really beautiful. I wish that I could have an endless supply of these. So good. They always look so good. Since we're on a cream product pick right now, let's talk about another cream product. This is from the Melt Cosmetics Nightmare Before Christmas Christmas Town collection. This is the Deadly Nightshade Duo Cream Blush Light and Highlight. So it has a creamy coral blush here, then a champagne colored cream highlighter. I like both of these together. I like them separately. This is not really a surprise because I already was a fan of the Blush Light formula. I really like the texture. I get a great wear time. Again, just super easy blend. This is fun, special packaging. I picked up almost everything from both of the Melt Nightmare Before Christmas collaboration collections. Several pieces. And this was the standout across both Halloween Town and Christmas Town to me. And this is the one that I keep going back to from that collection over and over again, even after the season that this came out has passed. It's still just a really good little blush and highlighter duo. Lastly, my favorite, just straight up highlighter from the year comes from Too Faced. This is the Moon Crush highlighter. I got the shade Shooting Star. This is a lovely little soft gold. It's what I'm wearing on my cheeks today. Too Faced hasn't had a ton of hits for me over the past couple of years, but this is definitely a hit for the brand. It has such a silky, soft texture. It's also incredibly pigmented. Like, I've been using this for several months now, and you just need such a small amount to really get a lovely glowy impact. Mine still looks decently intact, even though I've been using it for months, because a little bit goes a long way with this. And so it still looks pretty. I've been talking for so long about those other products. What I want to do is switch to voiceover, Amanda, because I want to show you lip swatches for my favorite lip products of the year. And every single one of these lip products I have dedicated videos for, so I don't have to talk too much about the specifics of formula and all of that good stuff. And I'll link those videos in the description so you can check those out. But I want to show you lip swatches, nice and close up, of all of my favorite lip colors from 2023.
The first lip product we're going to talk about is this lip oil from Fantasy Cosmetica. This is the shade Ancient One. It came out with their Warlock collection. Formula-wise, I think all of these lip oils are really nice. They're hydrating. They have a great amount of tint so you can see the color, but it's still very sheer and buildable. But this color is my favorite. I love the way that this purple looks over the natural color of my lips. I love the grape scent, and the fact that each one of these oils is individually scented with a different fruit fragrance just makes this so special. The attention to detail Fantasy Cosmetica gives their releases is incredibly apparent, and it's why I really love pretty much everything they do. Now we're moving on to some e.l.f. lipsticks. This is from the O Face Satin Lipstick release. I did do a lip swatch video with a bunch of the colors, but these two are my favorites. No Doubt is a nice brownish nude, and then Drive is a little bit deeper, more brownish rosy type of nude color. These two are just easy everyday staples. The satin formula is beautiful, comfortable, really nice and opaque. I don't have to layer over and over again. I don't get any streakiness with these, and they just look good with any type of makeup look. They feel good, and it's e.l.f., so they're pretty available, they're pretty affordable. I also love a satin finish lipstick in general because it gives a nice balance between wear time and comfort. These are not so dry as a matte lipstick would be, but they do need to be touched up a little bit more often. They're not transfer proof. I just think this is a nice balance for me personally, for my skin type, for my lifestyle. These work really well, and I really like both of these colors. Now, let's talk about an OG lipstick formula. These are the ColourPop Luxe lipsticks. They released a bunch of new colors this year. Most of the ones I'm showing here are the cream finish. However, the more purpley berry shade called Follow Me is one of their blur finish lipsticks. And for this color, I really like this finish, but in general, I do prefer the cream finish Luxe lipsticks. I was a little bit worried at one point in time that the Luxe lipsticks were being discontinued because There was a period of almost a year where they didn't release a lot of new ones, and it seemed like once they went out of stock, they didn't come back. So I was definitely fearing for the future of Luxe lipsticks, and I am thrilled to say that they came out with 20-ish new colors this past year, and I do think it was one of the better releases for ColourPop this year. Of the colors that they dropped, my favorites are Trending, which is sort of a terracotta coral mixture. This one called Party Mix, which is a really classic red, not the type of color I usually go for, but I just feel so drawn to the tone of this particular Party Mix shade. I also love this rich, beautiful orchid berry type of color. I think this would look good on everyone. So this was my favorite of the new blur finishes. And then this shade Latte is another one I think will look good on a lot of people. I love a really rusty brownish red type of color. And I've also been gravitating towards more deep colors. So this really just hit the right stride for me personally. Now, when it comes to the best of the best, I think that the entire Lost Library collection from Fantasy Cosmetica was head and shoulders above many of the releases that we saw this year. I've been really excited about it since day one, and I do think that the lipsticks are my personal favorite part of the collection. The eyeshadows are also beautiful. I really, really did like those two. I have a whole video about the Lost Library collection that I definitely recommend checking out because you can see the rest of the Lost Library lipsticks there and hear more about all the different colors and why I love these so much. But these are the three that I have gone back to over and over and over again. I'm sure if you know me from my channel, that won't be surprising. Hidden is a nice rosy, nudie kind of your lips but better shade for me. So this is an easy everyday go-to type of color. But this year I did find myself gravitating towards corally colors and reds more than any year previously. So this was an unexpected favorite for me. This is a corally orange shade called Lost. And then probably my favorite of all the shades is Buried. This is again one of those rusty brownish red type of colors that I just have really fallen in love with, and I feel is really flattering for me personally. So Buried I think is my favorite. Now, speaking of collections that I really liked the entire collection, let's talk about the Odin's Eye and Angelica Nyqvist Halloween collection. Loved the whole thing. For me, again, the lips were the standout, and there are 5 lip colors in this collection, but I have 2 favorites that I have gone back to over and over again. That's this gloss in the shade Spectral. This is such a gorgeous brownish nude. It's not too light, it's not too dark. It has that nice kind of dusty undertone that I love. And of course, no surprise here, Shadow Creature is that rusty red color. This is in a matte formula. It is a very fluffy, whipped matte type of texture. It reminds me of the NYX soft matte lip creams, which I personally love those. I know that that's sort of a love it or hate it type of product, but I love it. So I'm really interested in these fluffy matte formulas. Spectral is just that girl that I throw in my bag and I take with me because I know it's going to look good whether I'm wearing tons of makeup, no makeup at all, or anything in between. It's just that perfect neutral type of color for me. And then, I'm digging on these rusty reds. This was a great fall and holiday color for me, but I can truly see myself wearing this anytime. And I actually wore this on a night out and it was so comfortable. I barely had to touch it up. Last lip favorite is the Kaleidos Cloud Lab Lip Clay Sound of Winter collection. I think all 8 of these colors are really beautiful. I love the Cloud Lab lip clays. They aren't quite as fluffy and whipped feeling as the Halloween matte lip colors are, but they have a similar light feeling on the skin, a similar long wear time. And my personal favorite of this entire collection is this one called Pink Himalayan. Again, this is a very very neutral undertoned pinky nude color. It has almost a gray undertone to it, which I think makes a simple color like this really feel like a standout. It just has a little something to it that I can't quite put my finger on. It looks simple at first, but with that very neutral undertone, I just felt like this was a standout. I like all 8 colors, but this is my go-to.
Hopefully, I'm able to edit this down to a reasonable length because I have been sitting here filming for like 2 hours. And this is only part one. Make sure you keep an eye out for part two, which will have my top 12 palettes of 2023 and will also include an eyeshadow tutorial for this look that I'm wearing right now. This really silver and purple cool toned look that is a mashup of two of my favorite palettes of the year. Part two should be a little bit shorter than this one, I think, in theory. Probably, perhaps. Once I get on a roll though, I get excited about shiny things, pretty things. What can you do? Now's the time when I want to hear what you think. What were your favorite products of the year? Do we have any of the same favorites? Is there anything that you think that I need to try that I haven't shown on the channel yet? I always love to hear what you think about things too. I take a lot of your recommendations and I discover a lot of things to love from those recommendations. So keep them coming. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Never ever. Oh boy, oh boy. I'm filming this on my grandma's birthday. I'm about to call her after I finish filming this, but Grandma, if you see this, happy birthday. It's not going to be posted on your birthday, but shout out to my grandma. She's awesome. I don't give myself enough credit because I think this is one of the more varied lip color favorites that I've ever done. And that's cool. Good for me. My Christmas puzzle is sitting downstairs unfinished, taunting me. I'm about to go finish it. Eyeballs. I genuinely don't know why I'm so weird. I can't tell you because I don't know. Blah, blah, blah. This eye look is super cute, isn't it? Ooh, mama. In the wintertime, I swear it's like 2:30 and it feels like 6 o'clock at night. I'm over it. My nails kind of match my eyeshadow a little bit. Silvery, purpley. Love that. Love that for me. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Here we go. Annoying. I don't need more lip oil, but I do need more lip oil. And I think that makes sense and nobody should question it. Don't forget to go watch my end of the year giveaway video too so that you can enter my end of the year giveaway because I have 2 big, beautiful boxes full of makeup just waiting for new homes. So check those out because that is open until January 2nd, I believe. Pretty sure January 2nd is the end. So go watch it before then. And yeah, that's all. That's all I got. I'm gonna go film my other best of video for all the palettes. And I will be filming and swatching and editing for the next approximately 10 million years for all of this footage that I've taken. It's fine. It's better to have too much than not enough. That's one thing I've learned in my many years on YouTube. Okay, cool. That other video is going to be out really soon, so keep an eye out for that. And finger guns. What am I doing? See you real soon. Love your face so much. Okay, bye.